What if Goku trained Deku? Chapter 12. Deku walked out of the stadium to the sound of cheers and applause. All Might followed him and lifted him onto his shoulders. They walked towards the exit when Goku and Vegeta touched down in front of them. "Good job, kid," said Goku. Deku smiled as Goku held out his fist. Deku put his out as well and bumped it against Goku's. "Let's grow stronger together," said Goku. "Hell yeah," said Deku. Goku smiled as they walked out of the exit. The next day, Deku woke up and set off for school. Normally, he would have been taking the train, but since he had learned how to fly, he had become a bit addicted to the feeling. With a blast of air, Deku shot off the floor. The air whipped through his hair as he accelerated to max speed. He tore through the air high above the high street, which drew some attention. "What was that? Some sort of green meteor?" said a member of the public. "It must have been the winner of the sports festival. He must be on his way to school. What a powerful hero," said someone else. The members of the public smiled as Deku flew off. Deku landed outside UA and walked inside. He walked into class with the biggest smile on his face. "Hey Deku." "Wow, you're in a good mood," said Uraraka. "Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good," said Deku. "I'd be feeling pretty good if I won the sports festival, but I kinda sucked," said Uraraka. Uraraka let out a fake laugh. Deku reached out and took her hand. "No, you're amazing. It was genius the way you tricked Karchan into giving you weapons," said Deku. Uraraka blushed. "Thank you, but I should have been able to do more," said Uraraka. Deku understood. She was having some serious self-doubt. Deku reached out, taking her other hand and looking her in the eyes. "Uraraka, it's okay to fail. Just promise me that you'll keep getting back up," said Deku. Uraraka's face turned scarlet red as she launched her arms around Deku for a hug. "Thanks, Deku," said Uraraka. Deku started to blush as well because he wasn't expecting the hug. "Excuse me, can you move out of the way?" said Aizawa. Deku and Uraraka suddenly realized that they were in the doorway and Mr. Aizawa was trying to get past. The two separated and went to their seats, still blushing. "Okay, seeing as everyone is here, let's begin. We'll be starting the internship program soon," said Aizawa. Aizawa pulled up a slide that showed the students and the number of invitations that they received. "Pick from the agencies that have sent you invitations. The better you did in the festival, the more invites you will likely have." The class looked up in shock at the size of the number under Deku's name. Literally thousands of invites had been sent, not just from Japan, but from all around the world. "Choose carefully, as the skills and contacts you make will help you massively in the future," said Aizawa. Aizawa left the room as everyone spun their heads towards Deku. "Did every agency in the world send you an invite?" asked Mineta. "I really don't know, but I already know where I want to go," said Deku. "How? You haven't even looked at the list yet?" asked Uraraka. "I've already got something lined up," said Deku. After class, Deku went to the beach and walked up to Goku. "No," said Goku. Deku was shocked. "What do you mean no? But I won the tournament. It'd be a full week of training. I thought you'd love it," asked Deku. "Don't worry, I would love to train with you, but I think you need something different. I've had like 7 masters. It's time that you learn from someone else for a bit," said Goku. Deku lowered his head, saddened, but Goku put his hand on Deku's shoulder. "I know it sucks, but it's important for you to draw wisdom from multiple sources. If you just take it from one, it can become rigid and stale. You might find someone who can complete your way of thinking, and that could really help you in a fight," said Goku. The next day, Deku was on his lunch break and was sifting through the massive amount of invites when All Might walked up to him. "Young Midoriya, can I speak to you?" asked All Might. All Might sat down next to Deku. "You have received an invitation from my old teacher," said All Might. Deku noticed that All Might was shaking. "Damn, this guy must be terrifying," said Deku internally. "Do you think I should accept it?" asked Deku. "He is an amazing teacher, so I believe it will benefit you. It is, however, up to you." Deku nodded. At the same time, Goku was flying towards UA. He landed at the front gate. A speaker spoke from next to him. "Hello, please state your name and reason for visit." Son Goku, and I want to talk to Principal Nezu," said Goku. "One moment, please." Nezu was in his office doing some paperwork when he got a call. "Excuse me, Principal. There's a Mr. Goku here for you. Do you know him?" "Oh, Mr. Goku. I wonder what he wants. Please send him in," said Nezu. A few minutes later, Goku walked into Nezu's office. Ah, Goku, it's been a while. Goku shook the principal's paw. How can I help you? Asked Nezu. So I've heard the students are doing internships. Is it possible that one of the students could spend their internship training with me? Asked Goku. It's very unusual, but I don't see the harm. I'm sure that young Midoriya will benefit greatly from the experience, said Nezu. Actually, I don't want Deku. I've told him to train with someone else, to get more experience. I was thinking of someone else, said Goku. Nezu turned to Goku confused. Goku explained himself and Nezu nodded. I'll call for them immediately to come up and see you. Thanks, said Goku. After a few minutes there was a knock at the door. Goku stood up smiling as he held out his hand. Thank you for coming, said Goku. What's this all about? Asked Uraraka. I saw you during the sports festival. You have an amazing drive. Do you want to spend your internship training with me? Asked Goku. Are you a pro hero? Asked Uraraka. Not really, but I'm the guy who trained Deku, said Goku. Uraraka's eyes widened as he remembered the entrance exam and this guy catching Deku. What sort of training? Asked Uraraka. It can be a variety of stuff. If we want, we can focus on combat skills, or I can teach you to fly and manipulate your own energy. The stuff that you've seen Deku do is all available to you. His quirk only gives him a boost in the power of his energy. Uraraka sat down. She'd been so amazed by how powerful Deku was, and to hear that she could do that too left her speechless. Are you sure I can do all of that? Asked Uraraka. It'll be a little harder for you because you don't have his quirk, but yeah, I'm sure, said Goku. Uraraka smiled and began to tear up. I'd love to, said Uraraka. Goku smiled and put his hand on her shoulder. Good. We start tomorrow. I've already asked the principal to use one of their training areas, said Goku. Uraraka looked behind Goku and saw the principal nodding. The next day was the start of the internships. Deku set off for Gran Torino's, whereas Uraraka set off for Site Gamma. She arrived to see that Goku was already there and provided lots of food. Good morning. I asked the school chef to prepare some food for you, so you can keep your energy up during the day, said Goku. Uraraka both picked up a bowl of rice and began to eat. Okay, now that we've eaten, please show me your quirk and its limits, said Goku. Uraraka nodded. Anything I can touch, I can make weightless. It doesn't appear to have a weight limit, said Uraraka. She tapped Goku on the shoulder, making him float. Huh, that's very interesting, said Goku. Goku floated up a bit before Uraraka turned it off. Okay, let's get to training, said Goku. Goku took her through some basic combat forms and was very impressed at how fast she was picking things up. Okay, it's time to spar, said Goku. Wait, what? Asked Uraraka. Don't worry, it won't be anything serious, said Goku. The two of them got into a stance facing each other. When he was sure she was ready, he threw a punch. When someone's coming for a punch like this, what would you do? Asked Goku. Uraraka looked at Goku's stance before answering. You're off balance, so I should move to the side and grab your wrist, said Uraraka. Goku nodded and Uraraka began the move. She grabbed his wrist, twisting him to the ground. Good. Try moving more fluidly and smoothly. It will keep you balanced. Now, let's go again, said Goku. Goku got up and threw a punch again, and Uraraka repeated the move. This time it was more fluid and with greater control. They repeated this activity over and over again, with Goku slowly making the punch faster. I'm really impressed with your progress. Let's try adding more blocks and deflections, said Goku. The next few hours, Goku and Uraraka practiced defensive skills over and over again. Now Goku threw a punch after punch and she managed to deflect them. They smiled at each other and then took a break. You're doing great, said Goku. Uraraka smiled. Yeah, I already feel stronger, said Uraraka. You are a natural when it comes to this stuff. Do you want to do something else this afternoon? Said Goku. What do you mean? Asked Uraraka. I think it's time for you to learn about Ki, the energy that me and Deku use, said Goku. Uraraka's face lit up. She'd been waiting for this moment. Goku sat down on the floor and gestured for Uraraka to do the same. He closed his eyes and so did she. Meanwhile, Deku was with Gran Torino. So, you are the successor. Toshi has told me a lot about you and your friend Goku. Show me what you've got. Gran Torino immediately took off and kicked Deku in the spine. Deku spun around, but he was already gone. What the? Asked Deku. Deku was kicked in the back again. What are you going to do against a faster foe? Asked Gran Torino. Gran Torino continued zipping around, kicking Deku about. Deku powered up, but it didn't help. He still couldn't track his movements with his eyes. Deku smiled, closing his eyes. What are you doing? Asked Gran Torino. Gran Torino launched a kick towards Deku's face, but it was caught. Deku's eyes snapped open. Good work, kid. You know your stuff. But you are still slow, said Gran Torino. Gran Torino started bouncing off the walls again, forcing Deku to sense his ki again. However, Gran Torino sped up, and Deku couldn't keep up. Deku's eyes shot open when a fist landed hard in his stomach. Deku fell to the floor. You've been given an immense responsibility. You have to survive, otherwise One for All will disappear. Who will protect the world? Said Gran Torino. Deku laid on the ground, winded. Their training continued for the next few days until it was gradually getting more intense. On the 6th day of training, Goku walked into Sight Gamma to see Uraraka floating in the air meditating. How are you doing today, kid? Did you sleep well? Asked Goku. Uraraka opened her eyes and landed on the ground. I'm alright. It's been weird staying at school though, said Uraraka. I'm really impressed with you. You're picking this stuff up so quickly, said Goku. Uraraka smiled. Now, show me your flight, said Goku. Uraraka nodded, then took off. She floated a few feet off the ground. Brilliant, said Goku. It's awesome because it removes my biggest weakness of getting sick when I make myself weightless, said Uraraka. Wow, that's great. Can you show me your ki blast? Said Goku. Uraraka took a deep breath and held out her hand. Slowly, a bright pink ball appeared in her hand. Oh yes, awesome, said Goku. Really? I thought it wasn't much, said Uraraka. These first steps can be difficult, and I'm so glad we managed to do it so well. I think we should use this remaining time increasing your overall strength, said Goku. Actually, there is something else. My quirk's been acting weird, said Uraraka. Goku looked at Uraraka confused. Whenever I use it on something, I can feel the energy on it. I can feel the power of gravity itself. I can feel how my quirk manipulates it, said Uraraka. This might have something to do with you being able to sense energy, but I don't know. This is new to me. I think it's something unique to you. We can investigate if you want, said Goku. I'd like that. It could be something useful, said Uraraka. Do you want to spar first? Asked Goku. Sure thing, said Uraraka. The two got into fighting stances and leapt at each other. Goku led with a right hook, which Uraraka dodged by ducking under his arm. She countered by launching several quick jabs into his stomach and kidneys. Goku used his ki to push her back, but she didn't let up. She jumped back, flying at full speed towards Goku. Seeing that she was going to punch him, Goku put up his guard, but at the last moment she span forward, moving into a powerful axe kick. This hit Goku in the shoulder, but Goku countered with a powerful punch to the stomach. Uraraka was thrown backwards into a wall. Giving up? Asked Goku. Not yet, said Uraraka. She shot forward, shattering the wall behind her. As she flew, she generated 2 ki blasts. Goku threw a punch straight at her, but she used one of the blasts to throw her up in the air, then used the other to send her back down. She shot down like a bullet out of a gun, aiming for Goku's head. He narrowly dodged, and Uraraka slammed into the pavement, shattering it. Goku gathered his balance and turned around to see Uraraka generating dozens of ki blasts. She threw them at Goku, who began deflecting them. What's your plan? How are you going to... Goku was cut off when he was hit in the face with a bit of broken rock. What the? Asked Goku. I wrapped my ki around the broken pieces of wall and road. When you deflect it, you shatter it. Goku rubbed his eyes, but he couldn't get the dust out. Smart, but you know I don't need my eyes, said Goku. I know, I thought about that, said Uraraka. Uraraka took a deep breath and lowered her power. What are you doing? Asked Goku. Uraraka then generated a bunch of big ki blasts, all with the exact same power. Damn, she's smart. I can't sense which one's her, said Goku. Suddenly, all the ki signatures began to rapidly close in. I've got to deflect them. He went to punch one, but Uraraka caught his fist and grabbed his wrist, twisting it behind his back. Goku powered up, breaking free. Hey, that's cheating, said Uraraka. Sorry, said Goku. Goku powered back down and went back to the fight. The two of them went back and forth for a few more minutes, but eventually Uraraka lay on her back, panting. Goku helped her up. Good fight, said Goku. Uraraka smiled. I love this power. It's so amazing. I never thought I'd be able to do this, said Uraraka. It's amazing, isn't it? So, I know you're strong, but how strong? Asked Uraraka. I'll show you, said Goku. For a fraction of a second, Goku flashed into Super Saiyan 3. Uraraka almost threw up from the immense power. Wow, you are seriously holding back, said Uraraka. Goku smiled and sat down on the ground. I'm interested What's going on with your quirk? Do you want to check it out now? So asked Goku. Uraraka sat down, facing him. Sure. They both closed their eyes and felt the energy flow through the earth around them. Try using your quirk, asked Goku. Uraraka picked up a rock and made it weightless. Interesting. I can feel that now. It's like the energy just disappeared. Now how can we use this? Asked Goku. Meanwhile, Deku was training with Gran Torino. Deku was bouncing off the walls of his house and was trying to catch Gran Torino. Good, you're getting close. Now, change direction, said Gran Torino. Gran Torino was about to bounce off a wall, but he suddenly changed his direction and shifted upwards. Quickly, Deku chased by using a combination of flight and ki blasts. He slammed into the roof, directly in front of Gran Torino. Deku grabbed the old man, claiming victory. Good work. You have improved greatly. I think you're ready to go on patrol tonight, said Gran Torino. Oh, brilliant. That'll be awesome. Gran Torino smiled. You chose well, Toshi. This kid is something special, said Gran Torino internally. That evening, Deku and Gran Torino got into a taxi and set off for the train station. They got on a train going for a big city and sat down. A little time passed and Deku was on his phone trying to message Ida to see how he was holding up when he sensed something. Deku shot forward, destroying an empty chair in front of him, and grabbed a civilian, pulling them away from the train wall. Before anyone could react, the wall blew off and a massive Nomu clawed its way on board. Gran Torino shot over, kicking the Nomu in the face. He then shot into its gut, sending it out of the train. Stay here, yelled Gran Torino. He chased after the monster, leaving Deku in the train. However, Deku didn't listen. He took off at max speed, flying towards the explosions. At the exact moment, Ida had found the hero killer Stain. You bastard! You paralyzed my brother, said Ida. Stain dropped the hero he was holding and turned to face the tantruming child. Who are you? Asked Stain. I am the hero Ingenium, brother to the hero you attacked, said Ida. Ingenium, huh? So you're his brother? I let him live so that he could spread my message, said Stain. I'm going to kill you for what you did, said Ida. Ida ran at Stain, but he was swatted away by a kick to the face, then was pinned to the ground by a blade through the shoulder. Pathetic. You call yourself a hero, but you haven't even noticed this hero here. No, you are driven by selfish goals. Stain pulled out the blade and licked Ida's blood, paralyzing him. You disgust me, said Stain. Meanwhile, Deku had arrived at the fight. Who are you? Asked Manuel. I'm Deku. I'm from UA. If you aren't a pro, evacuate. Damn it, where is Ida? Asked Manuel. Ida, what? Asked Deku. He ran off somewhere. You should too, said Manuel. Deku took off at top speed. He had a hunch, but he was hoping he was wrong. He flew into the air and closed his eyes, desperately searching for Ida's energy. After a few seconds, he felt a faint flicker of Ida's energy. Damn it, it's fading, yelled Deku. Deku went full power and took off, instantly breaking the sound barrier. As he flew, Deku charged 2 ki blasts. He closed in on Ida's location rapidly and sensed 2 other energies, one with immense malicious presence. He found the hero killer, said Deku. Deku shot down to the ground like a meteor, slamming the blast into the hero killer's chest. Stain was thrown down the alley as Deku landed. Midoriya? What are you doing here? Asked Ida. Saving your life. Can you get up? Asked Deku. No, his quirk paralyzed me, said Ida. Damn it, said Deku. Deku noticed the other hero. I can't carry them both. I guess I have to fight, said Deku. At the other end of the alley, Stain got to his feet. Ah, the UA champion. Why have you come here? Asked Stain. Going to save my friend and that hero from you, villain, said Deku. Interesting. I see that you might be genuine, said Stain. Deku had been trying to kill time so he could descend his location, but he was cut off when Stain lunged at him. He dropped his phone and threw a blast at Stain. Stain cut the blast in half and threw a knife at Deku. Using his improved kinetic vision, Deku caught the blade mid-air and threw it back at the villain. For a fraction of a second, Stain was surprised, but he flicked it away with his sword. Deku lunged at Stain, narrowly dodging his sword. Deku slipped behind him and kicked out his legs. As Stain fell, he span round with a knife, cutting across Deku's face. Deku howled in pain, then booted the hero killer down the alley. Now angry, Deku gathered his power and shot towards Stain at full speed. The pavement splintered and shattered as a supersonic Deku tore past them. Deku was just about to grab the hero killer when Stain licked his knife. Deku became limp mid-air and careened into the wall with a loud crash. "You are lucky. I believe that you might be a true hero, so I'll let you live, but your friend, he needs to die," said Stain. "Why?" yelled Deku. "He tried to kill me. Now, that's not how a hero should act," said Stain. Stain lifted his blade above Ida's head, but before he could bring it down, he had to dodge out the way of a massive pillar of fire. "Midoriya, you should really give more detailed messages," said Todoroki. Meanwhile, Uraraka was meditating with Goku when she heard her phone go off. "Who is messaging me at this time?" asked Uraraka. She picked up her phone just to see a location from Deku. She immediately began to panic and ran over to Goku. "I think Deku might be in trouble. He sent me a message with only his location," said Uraraka, panicked. "That's weird. It's probably nothing. Let's check his energy just to make sure he's okay," said Goku. The two closed their eyes and tried to find Deku. "I found him. Oh my god, his energy is draining. It's barely showing. He's in serious danger," said Uraraka. Goku's eyes snapped open. He was serious. "Let's go," said Goku. Uraraka grabbed hold of Goku and using instant transmission appeared next to Deku. "Goku? Uraraka?" asked Deku. "Oh my god, what happened to your face?" yelled Uraraka. Uraraka fell down to the floor and took a close look at the battered Deku. "Careful, it's the hero killer. If he tastes your blood, he can paralyze you. Goku, can you get that hero out of here?" asked Deku. Goku nodded and at max speed tore past Stain, grabbing the hero and taking him to the hospital. Stain tried to hit Goku, but he hit nothing but air. "Why didn't you ask him to take down Stain?" asked Uraraka. "He can't. I'll explain later. Please go help Todoroki." Uraraka turned to see Stain rush forward, about to cut Todoroki in half. "No!" yelled Uraraka. She rocketed forward and slammed into the hero killer, but someone else had also come to Todoroki's aid. Ida was back on his feet and had kicked the villain away as well. "Ida? How many people are in this alley?" asked Uraraka. The three of them stood, facing the villain as he got to his feet. "Let's get him," said Uraraka. She lunged forward, gathering a ki blast and throwing it at Stain. He dodged it, then thrust forward his sword. Instinctively, Uraraka gathered her ki in her hands and grabbed the edge of the blade. This shocked everyone, even Deku. She then twisted the blade and kicked Stain in the stomach. He launched back with a knife in his hand. It narrowly avoided Uraraka, but she was knocked off balance and fell to the floor. Stain attempted to take advantage of this and stab her, but Todoroki prevented this with a wall of ice. Uraraka flew back to the others to catch her breath, but she didn't get a chance. Stain sliced through the ice and hurled a blade straight at Todoroki. It sliced open his cheek, breaking his concentration. Too fast for anyone to react, Stain rushed them and managed to lick Todoroki's wound, taking him out of the fight. Ida ran at Stain, followed closely by Uraraka. Ida tried to kick Stain, but missed. Before Stain could counter, Uraraka came in and managed to touch Stain, activating a quirk. But he didn't float. He was forced to his knees. "What the hell was that?" asked Ida. "I've learned a new trick. Using my quirk and my abilities, I can feel the way gravity affects things. Normally, my quirk just takes away the gravitational force on someone, but if I use my own energy as a power source, I can increase it. I'm thinking of calling it Gravity Bind," said Uraraka. "Amazing," said Deku. Stain struggled, but slowly managed to get to his feet. "Take him down, Ida. I can't move when I'm using this," said Uraraka. Ida nodded and began to beat down on the villain. He could still dodge and attack, but his movements were considerably slowed. "Hurry, I'm going to run out of energy," said Uraraka. Ida swept the hero killer's legs out from underneath him, and he fell to the ground hard. Ida knelt down beside the beaten villain. "You hurt my brother, and my friends." "You are a monster," said Ida. Ida was cut off suddenly when Stain grabbed hold of him and pulled him closer to him. Stain licked one of his many wounds on Ida's body and paralyzed him. "No, not you too," said Uraraka. Uraraka's energy began to run out, and the amount of gravity on Stain began to decrease. Uraraka thought this was the end for her, but a green blur shot past her. It was Deku. He was back on his feet and was going on the offensive. Uraraka smiled. She couldn't give up. She deactivated the gravity bind and, using what little power she had left, shot after Deku. The two collided with the hero killer and sent him to the ground with a double axe kick. They then jumped back and stood back to back, each with a hand outstretched. "This is over," Deku and Uraraka said at the same time. They both fired a massive beam at Stain. Green and pink merged in a spiral of light. Stain couldn't dodge because he had been backed into a corner. The beam hit him, sending him flying to a wall. This fight was over. Uraraka fell to the ground exhausted, and Deku knelt down, running his fingers over her cheek. "Thanks," said Deku. Deku stood up, turning to Todoroki and Ida. "You guys okay?" asked Deku. "Yeah, is he defeated?" said Ida and Todoroki. "Yeah, he's down." Deku picked up some rope from a nearby dumpster and tied Stain up. At that moment, Goku came back. "Oh damn, you guys had it rough," said Goku. Goku helped move everyone out of the alley and onto the street. At that moment, Gran Torino and the other heroes came round the corner, a bunch of injured children and the hero killer. "What did you do? I told you to stay on the train. And what happened to your face?" yelled Gran Torino. "We found the hero killer," said an exhausted Deku. The heroes and Goku helped the kids get to hospital, and they stayed for a couple of days. Luckily, Recovery Girl's healing was enough to heal Deku's face. After a little while, when it was all quiet, Uraraka walked up to Deku. "Deku, can I talk to you?" asked Uraraka. Deku and Uraraka walked up to the roof so they could talk. "Tell me about Goku. Who is he, and why couldn't he fight with us?" said Uraraka. "He's from another multiverse. He has to follow specific rules, otherwise he can get into serious trouble. He's allowed to train people, but not allowed to get directly involved in conflicts," said Deku. Uraraka nodded. "You believe me? I know it sounds crazy." "Yeah, I believe you. It's probably the only explanation for him being as strong as he is," said Uraraka. "Thanks for saving our butts back there. If you hadn't turned up when you did, I wouldn't know what had happened. You're so amazing." Deku was cut off, as Uraraka just kissed him. She kissed him more and more, and then began to cry. She hugged Deku tight. "I was so scared that something had happened to you, and seeing you in that state broke my heart," said Uraraka. Deku held her blushing cheeks and kissed her back. "Don't worry, you kept me safe," said Deku. End of chapter 12.